Okay, so I'm here with Spidergirl issue number 4, January 99. We're finally out of 98. Spidergirl battles the deadly Dragon King. He's not even her biggest problem. Mayday's parents have finally learned about her dual identity, and they're not happy. Oh boy. What's a Spider-Girl to do? The answer's inside. So, in case you forgot, she made a put on Spider-Girl to try and stop a villain at the Fantastic Five Museum, and it's a museum, which means there are security cameras. So yeah, it's pretty much out that she's Spider-Girl now. So the news is reporting on it. What's wrong with you, May? How long has this been going on? What possessed you to assume the identity of Spider-Girl without even discussing it with your mother or me? You wish you had an explanation that would calm your father and ease his unspoken fears. But you'll only make things considerably worse by revealing that you've been secretly slipping out each night for the past weeks to do your spider thing. Don't tune me out, young lady. I'm not ignoring you, Daddy. It's just that you think being a superhero is some kind of game? It cost me a leg and almost my life. Peter, please. There's no need to shout. You two have been going at this ever since the first news reports came in last night. Really? Boy, that's impressive. Nothing broke up that tension, that yelling match. No bathroom breaks, nothing. Peter made a forget being spider people, run for Congress. You could filibuster every stupid bill that comes before them. So MJ breaks it up, but it turns out she's just as unhappy with Mayday as Peter is. So she goes to school, and yet again there's a fight breaking out between Moose and Jimmy Yuma. Why do you even allow these two in the same school? Moose pushes Jimmy. He falls into it. A janitor named Mr. Nuckmucker. I'm not making that name up. And he takes a swing at them with his broken mop. Because he doesn't take any of that garbage. He then rants about young people should always shut young people, blah 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 blah. But the only way he keeps his job is to keep his collection, which looks like, did Indiana Jones have a garage sale? Because that's what it looks like down in the basement. And so does he live in the school? This raises a lot of questions. Does he live in school? Let's go. Nuckmucker, sorry. I mean, really. So Mayday has problems because your parents raised you to have a real sense of responsibility, and yet, in a misguided effort to protect you, they're now trying to convince you to turn your back on your powers and the potential good you might accomplish. Parents, go figure. Earth to Parker, have you heard a single word I said? Sure, Courtney. We're talking about Jimmy, like usual. We have to do something before Moose flattens him. What do we do? What do we, Court? I'm not sure we have any responsibility here. Especially since the last few issues, Jimmy seems to be the one picking the fights. What the? I mean, sure, Moose is pushy, but there is such a thing. If you see a giant grizzly bear while you're walking in the woods, the last thing you should do is go up and poke it with a stick. If you poke it with a stick, it's pretty much understood that if you get mauled, that was on you, Mr. Darwin Award winner. You're right, Parker. Those boys will eventually have to settle things in their own way, and you have other more important responsibilities on your plate. We missed you at yesterday's basketball practice, Miss Parker. Sorry, Coach Thompson. I wasn't feeling very well. I hope it wasn't anything serious. We've got a big game this Friday, and I have some new plays I want to try out. I assume I'll see you on the court later. I'll be there, Coach. Your team's counting on you. But they don't know about your spider-like powers. Spiders, known for their amazing skills at basketball. That's why Charlotte just joined WNBA and bought Wilbur and Charlotte's Web. Is it really fair for you to compete against normal teenagers? And of course, the Daily Bugle is still trying to figure out whether to be pro or anti Spidergirl. Meanwhile, May has a conversation about with Phil Urich over lunch, and he's not hiding the fact anymore that he knows that May is Spider-Girl. Meanwhile, Peter's having lunch with Johnny Storm. You're looking real well, of course. How's the hero biz? Same as usual. Full of clones, confusing plot lines, and my sister and brother-in-law blinking in and out of existence. You know, that sort of thing. Although the media keeps trying to stir up trouble between my team and those new Avengers. You want to bring up the elephant in the corner, or shall I? Hey, hey, you don't have to bother with me. Just ignore me if you want to. I'll just sit here. You mean Spider-Girl? I was surprised when she first showed up at the Fantastic Five Museum. Couldn't figure out who she was or where she came from. Then I remembered you had a daughter about the right age. You must feel proud. I still remember the look on Reed's face when Franklin officially joined our team. Of course, that was before the accident that, well, you know. Funny to think you and I were about the same age when we first started out. Where has the time gone? In a few short years, my son will be ready for his first costume. I hope Elijah and I handle it as well as you and Mary Jane seem to be doing. Johnny Storm bursts into flames, and it had nothing to do with his powers. It's the look Peter's giving him. Meanwhile, Moose, maybe purposefully tripped Jimmy. I don't know. And it shattered a bunch of glass. He and Jimmy nearly get into a fight, but a teacher breaks it up. But Bill Nye, the science guy, breaks it up. Or is that the 11th Doctor? I get those two confused sometimes. So, Mr. Now they're saying his name is Hackmalter. It was clearly an N earlier, so it's either Nuckmutter or Hackmutter. Whatever. Cuts his hand on some of the glass. He runs to get a bandage, but some of the blood drips on one of the medallions, and then something's happening to me. Something strange. Well, then it's not Spider-Girl's job to deal with it. It's Doctor Strange's. And wonderful. Or maybe it's Wonder Woman's job. You're sending mixed signals here. So he's turned into a gold-plated dragon thing, a bit jigger. At least they think it's very... At least it look kind of like a dragon, I guess. Grown. What is that? So he starts attacking the school because... I hate kids. Oh, did I scare you? Good. It's about time you kids noticed me. You might have been able to ignore Carlton T. Hackmutter. I guess it is Hackmutter. But no one can disregard the Dragon King. Did he just come up with that name on the fly? Run! It's some kind of monster. You think I am a monster? When was the last time you looked in the mirror? Wait. He hates teenagers, and yet he's calling the guy a monster who clearly has a comb-over. That is not a teenager. That's probably somebody... That guy might be older than him. You kids are like locusts. All you do is eat, annoy people, and leave a big mess. You don't know where this creature came from or what it wants, and you really don't care at this point. At this point, your first priority is to assure the safety of your fellow students. Once they've reached the nearest exit, you turn your mind to more mundane matters, like finding a little privacy. Since the dragon thingy is between you and the nearest ladies' room, you're forced to ad-lib. You're halfway in your costume before you remember the whole spider thing is still under discussion. Whoops. And whoops. You made you have a class full of monkeys. The dragon king bursts into a classroom. Although I'm sure chimps are friendlier and smell better. Okay, you can't argue with that. That's just true. Clear out, you punks. You're fully anyone. You don't do the assignments, and you don't care about learning. Again, I'm trying to find a way to argue with that. I can't really. The thing's gonna kill us all, Brad. You can't think like that, Kenny. I'll get you out of here. I swear I will. And who's going to save you, buddy boy? That would be me, Spider-Girl. Get out of here, Brad. Move it. Sure. Whatever you say. I recognize you. You're one of those new second-generation costume vigilantes I've read about. I prefer the classical characters myself, but, to each their own. Well, of course, he's not that kind of guy. When I was growing up, I dreamed of being just like Captain America. Conan. Wait, Conan is a known fact? Conan is... No? I knew he was part of the Marvel Universe, but I thought he was like in the distant past. John Carter and Jim Kirk. Okay. Star Trek has officially crossed over with Marvel. Several times. Okay. So I guess Jim Kirk can be a real person, but as John Carter, if anybody hears this and they know of if there's been a crossover between Marvel Comics and John Carter, please let me know. But I had to settle for reading about their adventures and following them on television. Hey, if you wanted to be a hero, no one's stopping you. Good point. Forget about it. The dream died long ago. After a lifetime of being disregarded and disrespected, it's time for a little payback. If I can't have admiration, I'll settle for fear. Pretty sure people would admire if a superhero who looks like a dragon. I mean, people like the Thing. Moose, look! Godzilla just flattened Spider-Girl. We've got to help her. Really? That's your logic? You're like those army tank guys in the Godzilla movies who see Godzilla get flattened by the giant space monster he's fighting in Tokyo, and they decide, oh yeah, let's fire on that thing. I'm sure where Godzilla failed, we'll succeed. And for some reason, May is surprised that Moose has some basic humanity. Although, given the way most bullies are written these days as being pure monsters who cause everyone to either commit suicide or have to go on a killing spree against their will, I do admire that writing. She tries webbing on him, but of course, since he has laser eyes, that doesn't work. Did you really think this cheesy webbing could stop me, little girl? Say what you will about me, but that webbing was state of the art in its day. Oh, great. Is this where we're supposed to exchange witty remarks? Actually, I was hoping we could skip that part and jump to right where you tell me your origin, which will hopefully give me a few subtle clues on how to defeat you. Do you really think I'm that stupid? He starts monologuing. You don't want to know. He's following, just like you planned. While he may be stronger and deadlier, you're faster and more agile, and you are hoping that will give you an advantage. Hey, where do you think you're going? Down the dragon hole. Since you won't share your past, I'll check it out on my own. Well. Can somebody spell obsessive? Nice collection. Yeah, just don't smash open the Lost Ark. I'd really hate to trash it. You'll leave it alone if you know what's good for you. Need I point out you're talking to a girl wearing webs? What do you want? You mean aside for world peace and a calorie-free burger? Guess I'm curious what'll happen when I start tossing these beauties in the air. No! He punches at her, but then hits the fuse box, and the electricity knocks him out. And he's being taken away. Jimmy, and nothing's changed between Moose because Moose has decided to be the jerk now. So, Spider-Girl really came through for us. There's no telling how many lives she might have saved. May! Where have you been? School, where else? How do you feel, honey? Are you alright? Sure, why wouldn't I? You heard. Darn right we heard. It was all over the news. Spider-Girl fighting some kind of dragon creature? What were you thinking? How could you put yourself at risk like this? You know how your mother and I feel about you playing hero? Whoa, I didn't mean to be disrespectful, Dad, but there was a lot more at stake than your feelings. I don't know if Hack Mutter really intended to hurt anyone or just wanted to give us a bad fright. Either way, I wasn't willing to gamble with the lives of my friends. I had a responsibility to act, so I did. I don't want anyone to ever suffer because Spider-Girl failed to help when she should have. Well, where do we go from here? Next issue, an old enemy from her father's past returns, and Spider-Girl suddenly finds herself experiencing a touch of venom. Enough said. This was okay. The stuff between the character stuff was good, was pretty good. Uh, and I like that, May got in the last word. How, however, the Dragon King doesn't make a very inspired villain. He's just an angry janitor who hates young people, so that didn't add much. And the high school drama seems to be spinning its wheels at this point, waiting for something to happen. So you have good character moments and some things that will be important later, but overall, I'd just say that this is average. It doesn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, but nothing really stands out as that special. So it's 5 out of 10, which isn't that bad. It just means that it's right there in the middle.